So on the Hydra-in-a-Box team, in the last couple of weeks, we've spent a lot of effort trying to get our application deployed into the cloud onto Amazon's web services. And this week, we've managed to deploy using Elastic Beanstalk, which is a pretty interesting cloud management framework from Amazon that lets us deploy instances of the application, and load balance them, and auto scale. So we were able to deploy our Rails application here and set up configuration that will let us scale up or down in response to a variety of triggers, including network I/O or CPU usage, or just time of day, which is a really powerful way to handle unexpected user load and save costs when user load is at a minimum. We've done some work to automate this infrastructure deployment. So we were able to deploy Solr, Fedora, the Hydra application, and take advantage of a variety of other Amazon services, including their EC2 instances, the database service, RDS, and Elastic Cache to provide our Redis dependencies. And this is all wrapped up in CloudFormation scripting that lets us quickly deploy this and stamp out identical environments as needed. An example of our application deployed in the cloud is here, and I'm going to demonstrate some multi-tenancy features we've been working on. So in this case, we have two tenants for our Hydra-in-a-Box application, tenant A here and tenant B. The difference is in the URL. And you'll also notice the application name is different between the two hosts. As an administrator for this application, I can go in and change this. Instead of calling the application tenant A, I'll call it best tenant. And this will automatically change, updating the page title, the brand name, and a variety of other areas in the application where we're exposing the tenant name. We expect in future sprints to add additional configuration options and really begin to explore how multi-tenancy affects our applications. I think that's it for me.
Do you want to show the other tenant and just prove
I
that
can, I can show that here we have tenant B, and it still is tenant B. I can give it a totally separate tenant. We'll call it annoying tenant. There we go. Right now, our multi-tenancy is only limited to the database. So anything persistent in the database is not shared between the applications. They are sharing Fedoras and Zolers right now, although we expect to tackle that in an upcoming sprint.
Okay, thank you, Chris. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen now. Okay, great. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yep.
Great. All right, so what I'm going to show today is some of the work that's been going on in some of the gems that Hydra-in-a-Box depends on, which includes Sophia and curation concerns and other Hydra community components. So this is very similar to what you just saw in Chris's demo. I have labeled my site Hydra Sprint 3 demo. You can see right there. And what I'm going to show today in particular is some of the work that Justin Coyne has been working on a new workflow. So last week I showed a demo of the new workflow, which is where you add one new multi-file work. And this week I'm going to show the new batch create workflow. It's at this point, I'd say it's mostly done. There are a couple of small tweaks we're going to be making. But the batch creation workflow is really an extension of what you might consider the legacy Sophia workflow, which is where you just toss a bunch of files up. You might not care to keep those files as aggregated things as works. You might just want, each file is basically its own work. So let's go ahead and go through this. You'll notice some of these edit buttons and this big ugly red bar here. That's because I'm an administrator, and these are editable content blocks. Just to mention that. You don't normally see this red bar if you're just coming to the site as a non-administrator. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and create a new batch. So I'll add some files. I'm going to add these 4 publications, and I'll go ahead and start the upload. All right, those are all done. There's a new display label that I can use. Is that basically a title here. I'll just change a couple of these real quick. Okay, and imagine I change those 2, change the visibility, and now I'm going to add some metadata you'll see over here. Okay, so with batch creation, this is one of the changes that we need to make, but right now, this title and this metadata that you see here will be applied to every single file individually. So one of the changes we're going to be making is stripping title out of here, because titles should be per file, like you just saw over here. These are the per file titles. So we still need to put something here because it's required. So, and I'll put in a creator as well. You'll see that these are both check marks now. That means I can submit and save my work. I'll check the deposit agreement and save it. So what this is doing, I have some background workers running. It may take a little bit of time because it's characterizing the files, it's validating the submission, it's taking the uploaded files and pushing them into the repository, applying the metadata, running a virus check. There's a number of background jobs that are running serially right now because I'm running this in development mode on my laptop. So that's going to go, and hopefully it will finish very soon. Is there anything else I can show in the meantime? I didn't show this bar too much. It's a new navigation bar that the Sophia UI working group spec'd out. So this is the new admin settings that Chris showed you. This is the dashboard. When my batch upload completes, I believe I'll get a notification here that'll light up and tell me that my batch is now ready. You've seen the new workflow last week. You saw the batch create this week, which is still running. And you can see the collections over here. And I do have one collection. Okay, so what you see now is the list of works. You'll notice that the works that I created a title for, a display label, that has been applied. And the ones where I left it blank, those are the file names as a default. And that's already there. I can even show you one of these. So this is a work. It has one file. And that's the batch creation workflow. Do folks have anything else they want to demo or talk about on the demo? Okay, great. I believe that's the end of our demo. Thanks for watching. We'll do another one next week.